Welcome to Gayle Jann Yoga. We are going to lengthen and strengthen and tone and move our entire body. And you're going to feel amazing after this practice. So if you need to get some blocks or a blanket or anything else that you like to use in your yoga practice, take a little bit of time to do that now, and we'll meet back on the mat. So let's start on our backs in dead bug pose. Float your feet above your hips, your hands above your shoulders, and let your whole back relax into the earth. So you find this stillness and a gentle inversion in your legs and in your arms, keeping the back of the shoulders on the ground. And start to vigorously shake out your feet and your hands and hug your knees into your chest. Rock around side to side, do little circles. And hug your right knee in as you stretch your left leg out. You can hover your left leg just an inch or so above the floor. And switch sides. Hug the left knee in, stretch the right leg out. Keeping your back relaxed. And then bring both legs up in the air, bend your knees to 90 degrees. And we're going to do some core work here. So lift your shoulders off the ground and begin to straighten one leg at a time. You straighten the right leg, stretch it long, then bring your right leg back up, bend your knee, straighten the left leg, stretch it out, lower it, bring it back up, bend the knee. And keep repeating side to side, going through each step of this core work. So straightening the leg, lowering the leg, bringing the leg back up straight, and then bending the knee. You want to keep your low back flat to the floor this entire time. You can also interlace your hands behind your head. That's what I'm doing now. It's easier and it feels better on my neck. You can open your elbows out to the side, which makes it a little bit harder. You can hug them in a little bit more towards each other. It makes it a little bit easier. You're still going to get some really great core work in here. So keep focusing on your breath, keeping the low back down. And then just relax, take a little break. Stretch your left arm out and straighten your right leg. And then as you exhale, bring your right elbow towards your left knee, keeping the left shoulder where it is. The left arm is extended. So every exhale, you squeeze up a little bit, not to touch, but just to squeeze up in that direction. Working with your breath, feeling that energy building in your core. Take a little break between sides, so rock out the knees, rock out the hips. And then stretch the right leg out, bring the left arm behind your head, and on an exhale, twist the left elbow towards the right knee. Right knee is bent, left leg is hovering above the ground. And every exhale brings you up into a gentle twist. Working those oblique muscles. Finding the rhythm of your breath, and then again, take a break. Roll around in your hips in circles, both directions. And rock yourself up into a seated position, and we're going to do some Navasana variations. So you can start with your hands behind your back, bend your knees, and then slowly, one foot at a time, you can touch your toes to the ground. You can hold the back of your thighs. It's a little more challenging, or you can straighten your arms forward. Make sure your back feels okay and your belly's pulling back and you feel this lift coming out of the hips. So try not to round the back. And just slowly tapping one foot at a time until you slowly lower down into Ardha Navasana. So you exhale, pull yourself back up, hugging the knees in. Inhale, lengthen out, lowering down. Exhale, coming up. Inhale, lowering, exhale, lifting. You can always use your hands behind your hips, so you can keep your arms straight forward. Always feel free to take a little break if this is getting too much for you. And then we'll all take a break together on your backs, rolling out the hips. And then rock up into tabletop position. And just start to move your spine around. So you can do little barrel circles. You can sway your ribs from side to side. And just like the feeling of getting your spine moving, that's the most important thing. And we'll do some wrist work. So rotate your fingers towards your knees, and if they don't rotate that far, you can rotate the fingers out to the side. If your fingers are towards your knees, rock back and forth. And if your fingers are pointing out to the side, rock side by side, side to side. Then flip your right hand, palm facing up, and continue to rock back and forth, stretching out the top of the wrist, and then switch hands. Flip the left palm up, fingers facing your knees. Gentle, slow, rocking back and forth. And come back with both fingertips forward and begin a cat-cow. Gently moving the spine. Finding that spaciousness in your spine and the range of motion that is available to you today. And doing this mindfully is the most important aspect of really any pose that we're doing. And stretch back into child's pose, hips to your heels, arms reaching forward. Breathe into your back, feel the back move. And then let your breath inhale you up into cat. Bringing your chest forward, then exhale back into child's pose. So inhale, round up, shoulders come forward. Exhale, hips reach back to child's pose. So it's like we're doing the cat-cow with a little more movement. Bringing in the child's pose. And come down onto your forearms. Walk your feet back into a forearm plank. So keep your hips nice and lifted, back full between the shoulders, heels pressing back, chest pressing forward, and really use your legs. Squeeze the legs in towards each other. Draw your front ribs in towards each other so that you're using your whole body here in your forearm plank. So that there's a sense of levity and lightness in your forearm plank. Remember to breathe and find those places that you can relax. You can always keep your knees down. You can come out early. You can challenge yourself and maybe hold it until we walk the feet in, coming into a dolphin prep. So bend your knees. Reach your chest towards your thighs. And then if you want to add a little more strength, you can bring your chin forward, like you're trying to touch your chin to the floor, and then back. Shoulders reaching back towards your thighs. Just go back and forth between these two ranges of motion, if that feels okay for your shoulders. And then step your feet back into another forearm plank. So take your time to adjust the position of your back. Working out those little details. Lower your hips down. And we'll do a little quad stretch. So bend your left knee, reach back with your left hand for your left foot. Gently pull your heel in towards your hip. And then remember to release that deep stretch. So you're going into the deepest part of the stretch and then letting go a little bit. Feeling a little spring back as you release the stretch, and then we'll switch sides. Keep your knees hugging inward. Don't let them splay apart. And be mindful of how your knee feels. Stretch your knee out behind you. Stretch your ribs forward to keep the low back from compressing and feeling any kind of discomfort. And release your foot. Stretch your arms forward, lying on your belly. Inhale, reach your right arm, left leg up. Exhale, lower. And do that a couple of times. So inhaling, reach your arm and leg up. Exhaling, lowering. Inhale, lift. And reach back with your right hand for your left foot. And see if you can lift everything up off the ground. So you kick back into your left foot, lift the left arm and right leg up. Do that one more time, finding a big spring upward. And release your foot and we'll switch sides. So inhale, reach the left arm and right leg up. Whoops. Guess we're alternating. Side to side. And then reach back with your left hand for your right foot. And lift everything up. So your right foot kicking back will help to lift you. It's a lot of back strength, back power here. And just relax and just gently float your feet from side to side. Lower your legs down. And inhale, right arm, right leg up. And reach back with your right hand for your right foot. And again, lift everything up. Left arm, left leg. And we'll switch sides. Inhale, reach the left arm, left leg up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. And then reach back with your left hand for your left foot. Pull your left foot back. Reach everything up. And come back into child's pose. Resting your hips on your heels. Noticing how you're feeling. Should be feeling pretty good right now. And then tuck your toes. Lift your hips up into down dog and bend one knee at a time. Stretching out through the opposite heel. Getting a nice calf stretch. And then spinal waves from cat, cow into plank. So inhale, roll your spine forward to plank. And exhale, lift your hips up and back, down dog. And just keep repeating that, moving with your breath. Going slow enough so that you can feel each vertebrae moving independently and interdependently. Just take time to really get into your body, get into this movement, really appreciating your spinal mobility and being patient with yourself. And inhale, reach your right leg up, down dog splits. Exhale, stack your right hip over the left and try and move from the hip joint. So you're not swinging your foot behind you to stack. Instead, you're moving from the hip joint and the leg is just turning from side to side. And then bend your knee and reach your foot way back behind you to open up that right hip flexor. Keep reaching, reaching, reaching. And come back to your down dog splits. Lower your right leg down. We'll do the same thing with the left side. So inhale, reach the left leg up. Stack the hips. Focusing on the hips moving, not the legs swinging behind you to open the hips. Notice your right knee. You don't want that knee to twist at all. So engage your right glutes. Then bend your left knee. Reach your left foot way behind you to open up the front of the hips. And back to downward facing dog. Lower your knees down. Come back onto your belly. Reach back with both hands for both feet for Dhanurasana bow pose. So you can flex your feet or you can hold the top of your feet. And kick your feet back to lift your chest up. And see if you can lift everything up. Legs and chest. And exhale, lower down. We're going to do that a couple more times. So kick your feet back. Inhale, lift everything up. Engage the abs and the back muscles we've just been working. And then relax. Again, inhale, lift up. Feel the shoulders opening. And exhale, lower. Release your hands. Curl up into a nice cobra. Point your toes, engage the legs, feet press into the floor. Squeeze the shoulder blades together and down your back. And make your way back, downward facing dog. Come up onto your tiptoes, walk your feet forward to your hands, coming into a forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, bow. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, bow down. See if you can maybe go a little bit deeper into your forward fold, just nice and gently lifting those hips up high. And inhale, lift up halfway again. Exhale, bow. Inhale, rise all the way up to stand, reach your fingertips toward the sky, and exhale, palms together, come into your heart center. Inhale, sweep wide. Exhale, bow. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, bow, plant your hands, step back to full plank. Same actions that we did in forearm plank. And bend your knees, stretch all the way back, downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up. Exhale, bring your knee forward. Step your foot forward into a lunge. Keep the back heel lifted for crescent lunge. And then inhale, rise up with your breath. And exhale, twist to the right. Spreading your arms out nice and wide. And slowly lower your left hand to the floor, staying in the twist to the right. Bring your right hand behind your back to really open up that right shoulder. And then reach your arms straight up again. Lower your right hand down and step back. Downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg up. Exhale, bend your knee, keep it in, hugging really tight, and step your foot forward into your lunge. Make sure your feet are hip distance apart. Keep the right heel lifted. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, twist to the left. Lower your right hand down, staying in the twist to the left. Reach your left hand behind your back to open up the shoulder. And then just release your right hand. You're setting that arm free. Lower your hands back down, step back. Downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Look towards your hands, bend your knees, and lightly hop forward or step forward. Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, reach out. Exhale, bow. Inhale, lift to lengthen. Exhale, bow. Step back to plank. Lower through Chaturanga. Lower the hips, Cobra or Up Dog. And exhale back, Downward Facing Dog. Inhale the right leg up. Exhale, step it forward. Inhale, rise up with your breath. Crescent lunge. Exhale, open up. Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. The back foot is parallel to the short edge of your mat. Arms are spreading wide. And reach your back arm down your back leg. Reach the front arm, the right arm, forward and back. Keep the right knee reaching forward. And then stretch forward nice and long, finding your triangle pose. Keep both feet deeply rooted. And bend your right knee. Sweep the left arm down and forward, coming into side angle pose. You can always place your forearm, your right forearm on your right thigh. And then lower your left hand down, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg up. Exhale, knee to chest, step your foot forward between your hands. Keep the back heel lifted. Inhale, rise up, crescent lunge. Exhale, open up. Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Take a little time to readjust your feet if you need to. And take time to find your warrior. Reach back, reverse your warrior. And pull your front hip back as you reach forward. Coming into triangle. Trikonasana. Bend your front knee. Sweep the right arm down and forward. Side angle, Parsva Konasana. Make your little modifications, your little adjustment till the pose feels really full and strong. And then step back, downward facing dog. Look towards your hands. Bend your knees and hop forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, bow. Inhale, rise all the way up to stand. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, bow. Plant your hands. Step back to plank. Keep the belly lifted. Shift your hips back, downward facing dog. Roll onto the outside edge of your right foot. You can step your left foot in front or forward, or you can keep your left foot stacked on top of the right. Lift the hips up. You can get that right sole of the right foot all the way to the ground. And then pick your left foot up, step it behind you, coming into Wild Thing, opening your heart toward the sky. And then bring your hands back down and back to downward facing dog. And roll onto the outside edge of your left foot, either stacking the right foot on top or keeping the right foot forward or stepping forward. Lift your hips. Reach your right arm up and then step your left foot behind you. Or your right foot behind you, sorry. Lower your hand down and back to downward facing dog. We're going to come into pigeon prep. So on your next inhale, reach your right leg up. Stack your hips, bend your knee, reach your foot back. And bring your right leg all the way forward for pigeon prep, taking time to adjust the positioning of your front foot closer or further away from your hip. And start to shift your shoulders side to side, shifting the hips, feeling the weight shift and noticing how that feels in your hips. And find center, interlace your hands behind your back. Stretch your hands down, reach your chest up. Release the hands, inhale up, reach back. And exhale, bring your hands forward, walk forward, finding your pigeon prep. You can rest your forehead on the back of your hands, or you could reach your arms forward, or even reach your arms out to the side on your fingertips in like a cactus position. So whatever your favorite variation of pigeon is, find it here. And find that balance of being able to keep the legs strong to protect your knee, so flexing that front foot, feeling that intensity of the stretch in your right hip, and then finding the softness in your upper body, relaxing your back, relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your face, and continuing to make any little minor adjustments that you need so you can relax in the pose and reap the full benefits. And part of the benefits are just building your awareness, noticing what's happening inside your body instead of being distracted by what's going on outside. Keep coming back to your breath and feeling the wave of the exhalation wash over you. And start to come back up, walk your hands back, put your back knee up, stretch back, down dog. And inhale, reach the left leg up. Stack your left hip on top of the right, bend your left knee, reach behind you with your foot, and bring your leg all the way forward for pigeon prep. Start to shift your shoulders side to side, shifting the weight on your hips. And then come back to center, reach your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers, reach back with your hands, up with your heart, release the hands, inhale up, and exhale, fold forward, coming into your pigeon prep on the left side. And find what works for you. Notice if this side feels different than the right side. Most likely it does. And then fine tune the pose. You always have that option to pay attention, to go a little deeper in your awareness. Do you need to back out of the pose today a little bit? Do you need to surrender a little deeper? And slowly, you can start to come out of the pose, walking your hands back, tucking the back toes, lifting your hips back to downward facing dog. Give yourself a nice long stretch through your spine. Look towards your hands, come up on your tiptoes, bend your knees, and lightly hop forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, bow. Press into the earth to rise toward the sky, reaching your fingertips toward the sky. And exhale, hands to your heart. Do a balance pose. We'll do tree pose and link that to a few other poses. So bring your right leg up. Hug your right foot into your left thigh and your left thigh into your right foot. Draw your belly in so you have a lifting sensation out of your hips. Reach your fingertips toward the sky. And I'm going to show you from a side view. So coming from tree pose, we're going to release the top leg, stretch it behind you, keeping that leg nice and strong, coming into Warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3. Keep reaching out through your foot, stretching your heart forward. And lower your hands to the floor, let your leg float up, coming into standing splits. If you want, you can walk your hands back and see if you can hold your right calf with one hand or both hands. Release your hands. Lower your leg. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, bow. Inhale, rise up to stand. And exhale, hands to your heart. And we'll switch sides. This time, bring the left leg up into tree pose. Try and make sure your hip points are facing forward, not off to the side. So no need for your knee to go directly out to the side. Hug in and reach up. And then again, I'm just going to switch sides to show you a different angle. So the key to balancing in Warrior 3, one of the big keys, is to keep the back leg strong. So it's working just as much or almost as much as your standing leg. You can come slowly into the pose. Find that place of extension. And lower your hands, let your leg float up. If you want to try that balance without your hands, walk your hands back. Take one hand at a time to your calf. And then release. Lower your leg down. And come into a squat. So squatting is a good thing to practice every day. Getting up and down from the floor. Being comfortable with opening up your ankles, your hips, your shoulders. And lower your hips to the floor and bring the soles of the feet together for Baddha Konasana. You can hold your feet and do little cat-cows here. So as you inhale, reach your heart forward. And as you exhale, round your back. So inhale, maybe you come forward a little lower. And then exhale, press your belly back to round the spine. Just keep finding your own rhythm with your breath. Seeing if your body is ready to go deeper, slowly being patient. And then we're going to set up for a twist. So bring your left foot across over to the right. Bring your right elbow either to the inside or the outside of your left knee. And do the twisting from inside. So really gather your belly in, lift up tall through your spine. Find your twist. And then on an exhale, twist open to the other side. Inhale back to center, twist again. And then inhale back to center, exhale, open, twist. Keeping the spine long throughout the twist. And then we're just gonna, if you want to, swivel around, spinning on your feet, walking your hands around until you have the right leg crossed over the left. And again, same twist. So inhale, stretch up as tall as you can. You can hook your right elbow on the inside of your left thigh if you like, but keep the shoulders open, lift your heart up. Reach up from inside. And then on an exhale, twist open. Inhale to center, exhale, twist back to your right. Inhale back to center, exhale, twist to the left. Now we're going to stack our knees for Gomukhasana. I think I'm just trying to balance, to really stack in this case, my right knee over the left. Then bring your left arm up. Use your right hand to adjust the position of your left arm. And then you can reach your right arm behind you and see if you can touch your fingers or clasp your fingers together. Being gentle with yourself. So if this doesn't work for you, if you have a rotator cuff injury, then there's no need to do this second part. But if you don't, it could feel really good. And unwrap your arm, just kind of roll out the shoulders a little bit. If you want to do that little pivot twist to switch sides, go for it, or just switch your legs. Again, stack those knees. Reach your right arm up and back behind you. Take your left hand to adjust just where your right arm is in space. The more close you bring your arm to your head, it's a little deeper. And then you can reach your left arm behind you or not. Just take time to feel this delicious shoulder opening. Hopefully it feels that way to you. Remember, you can always come out early, you can always modify. It's so important to learn how to modify. Release your hands, uncross your legs, coming into a cross-legged seated position. Bring your hands behind your back, lift your heart up. And then an exhale, twist. Well, not really twist, like doing a side stretch. So reach your right arm over to the left. Then plant your right hand, reach your left arm over to the right. And just go back and forth a few more times with your breath. Come back to center, and we're going to come onto our backs. Hug your knees into your chest. Swish your legs around in a circle, side to side. And place your feet for bridge pose. So bring your heels as close to your hips as you can. Keep your low belly pressing down. And then as you lift your hips up into a back bend, keep the activated core. So keep your belly pressing towards your spine to protect your low back. Lift up through the back of your heart. And then as you lower down one vertebra at a time, from the upper back to the middle back to the low back. And the hips are going to touch down at the very last moment. We'll do that again. Press into your feet. Lift up through your hips and the back of your heart. This time you can wiggle your shoulders towards each other, interlace your hands behind your back and press down with your hands. Push your feet into the floor and isometrically drag your heels toward your shoulders to feel the hamstrings fire up and the glutes fire. Hold your bridge. And then release your hands, and again, slowly lower down one vertebra at a time. And if you have a back bend practice and you want to try a back bend, this would be a great time to go for it. So bring your hands by your ears, keep your elbows hugging in, fingers pointing towards your shoulders. So we're going to first come into a bridge pose. So keep the legs strong, knees hugging in, lift your hips up, press into your hands, come to the top of your head, crown of your head, and then push down to reach your heart up. And take time here to do a little sway forward, to open the shoulders up a little bit more if that's possible for you today. Don't let the knees or the feet splay out. Keep the knees pointing forward. And just play a little bit here in your full back bend if you're choosing to do it. You can always do another bridge pose. To lower down, tuck your chin. We'll just do one back bend today, so hug your knees into your chest. Open your arms out to the side. And we'll gently twist both legs over to the right. Turn your head to the left. And just let yourself rest here and relax. not forcing the twist. You can always place a block or a blanket either underneath your knees or between your knees. Inhale back up to center and exhale, twist both legs over to the left, turn your head to the right. Again, just sink into the twist, letting yourself relax, letting go. Start to slowly bring your knees up. Rock around on those hips. And then we're going to rock back up to seated. And do a little bit of work on our neck and shoulders. So interlace your fingers behind your head. And don't use your hands to pull your head down. Instead, lift your head up into the resistance of your hands and feel that stretch spreading out through your shoulders and your whole back. Be gentle with yourself. Use your breath and see if you're ready to go a little bit deeper into this stretch. Remember, not pulling with the hands, but pressing up into the hands. Inhale, let your head float up. And start to lower your right ear towards your right shoulder. Take your right hand to the left side of your head and stretch your left arm out to the side. You can lift and lower. And you can move your arm in any direction. Again, we're pushing our head up into our hand, into that resistance. And just explore the feeling in your neck as you gently stretch it out. Release your hand, let your head float back up, and we'll switch sides. So, start to bring your left ear towards your left shoulder. Take your left hand to the outside of your head, reach your right arm out. Move your hand slowly so you can really savor all the little flavors of this neck stretch. And release your hand, let your head float back up. Roll out the shoulders a little bit. And just gently turn your head from side to side. We'll come back onto our backs. Hug your knees into your chest. And this time, hold your right knee, stretch your left leg out. And switch sides. Hold the left knee, stretch the right leg out. Hold the back of your thighs close to your knees for happy baby. So you can keep your hands by your thighs, on your thighs, or you could hold your ankles. You just want to try and have your shoulders and your hips on the floor. And then we'll release the feet and come into a gentle windshield wiper pose. So the feet are apart this time. Last twist they were together. This time they're apart. And that's going to give you a bigger stretch on the quad of the top leg. So move slowly, side to side. Come back to center again, hug your knees in. Maybe hug yourself into a little ball, and then stretch your arms and legs out for Savasana. Just let your feet flop open and do little wiggles and little adjustments so that you feel completely comfortable. Let your palms face up, eyelids gently closed. And find that deep surrender. Just letting go. So thank you so much for joining me for this practice. You can stay in Savasana as long as you like. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.